Papaya Playa at our full transmitting live events. And this is a very special interview that we're doing to raise awareness about the current situation that we're living in Tulum due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm very happy here to greet Julie from MOVIDA Maya. Gracias, Julie.
Gracias a ti, gracias por invitarme. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pues espero que ya estén ahí conectándose, que estén ya listos para que comencemos esta entrevista. I hope that you guys are already getting connected so we can start our interview. My name is Abril. This is Julie from MOVIDA Maya, and we're here to speak about the context of Tulum with this whole situation due to COVID. As you already know, we here in Tulum, there's a very high percentage of us that we live. Well, our economy is based in tourism, right? So the health issues are not impacting us as much as the economic situation here in Tulum. So we're doing these interviews, we're doing all of these events this whole weekend to bring awareness about this situation, and we need your help. We are taking donations, we're taking your love, we're taking your good energy so that we can keep sustaining this situation. What Papaya Playa is doing right now is we have been implementing a program based on supporting the local initiatives that have flourished due to the COVID pandemic, and it's been just really wonderful to see how the community of Tulum has come together to help out the people that have been impacted by unemployment. There's a lot of people that are not really getting enough income to feed their families, to sustain themselves, to pay for rent. There's a lot of unawareness about the health situation as well. So throughout these interviews that we're going to be doing every week to interview the neighborhood heroes, we're calling them neighborhood heroes like Julie from MOVIDA Maya, because these people are really sustaining the current situation. And so thank you for being here, and we want to hear more about Julia, more about MOVIDA Maya, about what about this amazing NGO from here from Tulum. So Julie, please tell us more about MOVIDA Maya, and then
No, but as I said, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be called a hero, but it's a difficult word to live up to. But yeah, at least we intend. I think we all have a very special connection with Tulum, including the people who are watching us. My connection with Tulum started about 3 years ago, when after many years working as an anthropologist in the humanitarian sector, I decided that I needed a break. Got drawn, like everyone, to the beautiful beaches, the wonderful nature that surrounds us. But it is in my nature to be also drawn to the social and cultural diversity that characterizes this place, and being a bit moved and motivated to support the more vulnerable to various situations. Quite naturally, upon arriving in Tulum, I met incredible people, and through connections, we build projects, right? I met my partner in this venture, who's a sociologist, Anaïs, who's so very naturally we decided that our passion was going to be changed into action, and we wanted to create a non-profit organization in order to respond to a situation that we were already seeing as let's say a consequence of an area that developed very, very quickly. We're talking about recent development. We're talking in TULUM, not even 20 years. And as you said, has led the TULUM community to depend a lot on tourism activities. And what we're seeing now in relation to obviously the COVID-19 pandemic is only highlighting certain things that MOVIDA Maya was already working on, which is basically focusing on the communities that are not necessarily in TULUM, but around TULUM, but who are directly linked by economic activities to the tourism livelihood that is this place. And so we are currently working within half an hour to an hour from TULUM. These communities, before this frenetic development happened, were very linked to their tradition. They were more self-sufficient. But as all of us, they've gone to adapt to a more globalized model and an economy depending on jobs. A lot of them leave their villages to go and work TULUM and the whole of the Riviera Maya, leaving a lot of their village empty. A lot of the transgenerational knowledge is being broken. So whilst they're trying to adapt to a new model, they're kind of also forgetting the more sort of self-sustainable livelihood that they had anyways, in order to go about your everyday and respond to your everyday needs. What's happening with the COVID pandemic, I think many of the people watching or listening can relate to that we have all needed to take a step back and realize that we are all sort of trying to find ways to answer our basic needs with what we have around us. And these communities that were already not suffering, but already being in that transition between two worlds, COVID is highlighting that again. We are in a situation where they're advising people to stay at home. The contingency means that they have less access to services. You also mentioned a lot of people lost their job, and unfortunately a lot of them lost their job without any sort of social protection behind it. So they are, again, even more vulnerable than us in relation to the situation. A lot of them don't have economic savings or food storage, and they don't have much assets to rely on. So to answer your question, I think MOVIDA, it was a very natural process. The MOVIDA Maya, whose aim is to generate leaders of a sustainable community, sustainable life and community, focusing on young people as the main as kind of the main spark, but in relation to COVID, it was obvious that we needed to respond to a more important risk, or at least to us at the moment, which isn't necessarily the risk of getting an illness, because for them the real risk is if they're going to have enough to eat, or how are they going to be able to cope in the long term. So that's kind of the balance where naturally we were like, yeah, we have got to take action in relation to this as well.
Exactly. So this is a very important point, what Anaïs just mentioned. I keep saying Anaïs because Anaïs is her partner in MOVIDA Maya. And also, hola, Anais. I hope
Probably
you're watching us. Mwah. Julie and Anais are amazing, amazing beings. Like just Julie said, you know, since they came here to Tulum, all they've been doing is collaborating with different different people, different groups, different hotels, so that we can come together and help these Mayan communities. So I'm very happy that we're collaborating now. So coming back to where I wanted to go, exactly. Working in communities is not easy, you know. There has to be like some research, and the approach has to be done like with a certain methodology, you know. In order to, these communities are outside the urban area of Tulum, so it's you know, we have to first like in order to really help out from the origin, we need to be able to uh, go out there and do some research and surveys, and to really know what's going on in these communities right now, no, so that that our approach is more effective. But however, we know, like we're just mentioning, that these people rely on tourism, most of them, no, to get their to live. So the first action that we took was provide food, and that's what we've been that's what we've been doing. It was the first step was get out there and provide food. And now Julie will tell us what's next, you know. If you don't have food, you cannot really continue your life, you know. Like the first aid that we provided was providing and supporting with food. We took food packages to certain Mayan communities in the outside urban area of Tulum, but now we want to keep assisting them. You know, we want to really support Movida Maya with other objectives. She mentioned self-sustainable, no? Self-sustainability. Very interesting how Mayan communities have lived like that, you know, for thousands
some
of
still are.
Yeah, thousands of years, and even some communities still live like that. So what can you please tell us a little more about the future plans, because this collaboration that we're beginning with Movida Maya is not just during this pandemic. We want to keep collaborating. This is just the starting. This is just the seed of a collaboration for that will continue.
We've had the chance to work together in the past as well. It's always a pleasure to see that, as you said at the beginning, on like different initiatives here in Tulum. Even though we're not a Tulum based, well, we are here in Tulum as a headquarters, let's say, but our activities are outside. But it's always great that Tulum based initiatives recognize the work that's being done outside as well. And as you said, it was obvious that we needed to answer to the immediate needs, which was basically getting food for that day or the next few days. And we're very, very lucky to have been able to collaborate with all these initiatives, and the successful delivery was done a couple of days ago only. So in the first one, there's been in Tulum, there's been several waves of delivery. And so for us, it's been the first kind of like stepping stone to what's about to come. And we're hoping, we were active in this community anyways through workshops that we were doing, but it was more sort of long-term development work. Now we can't really, I've worked in emergency, I can't really talk about an emergency, vital emergency. But yes, there is a pressing need to do something that is a long-term project. You mentioned how important it is also to spend time with the communities and research them. As an anthropologist, it's obviously something that I'm very, very passionate about. And before the whole distribution, there was an investigation that was done to really find out what were the needs and what were the perceived needs of the communities, so that something that's very important for MOVIDA is also placing the community at the heart of any action that we take. So we want them to be the informants as to what it is that they need and how they would go about it. And a lot of the feedbacks that we had was that there was, whilst their emergency was not knowing how long, not having any food, not knowing about when, if they were going to have a job again, or the economic crisis as well that was in their heads. But obviously a lot of them weren't understanding what the situation, what was going on. To be honest, not even though some of these communities have some touristic activity within them, a lot of them told me, but there's a bit of lack of information. We'd like to understand what's going on. So I guess one of the first steps that we want to do is actually providing accurate and accessible information to the people on not only what is happening, but also if they are in a specific need. I'm talking like medical, for example, where it is that they can go, or who are the actors that can help them in with this specific need. Sorry, I got a mosquito. And also a lot of education around hygiene prevention. I mean, COVID has highlighted more than ever the importance of hygiene, and hygiene practices anyways in these communities will need to be strengthened, just like they are everywhere in the world right now. So we need to make them in a way that they are accessible. A lot of these communities, a high percentage of people in the communities don't necessarily speak Spanish either. So it's a question of making accessible and available information, prevention methods as well. So that's the second immediate need. That would be kind of a first step. So hygiene promotion, education, again, always focusing on like young people as a platform, to then spread to the rest of the community about the education. A second step, based obviously on the donations that we receive, and we're very grateful for this opportunity also to be like help us, I mean help them more than help us. In the sense that we also want to start looking into what small income generating activities they could do within their village. Not necessarily money income, but also sort of what activities they could do to generate, maybe through trade, maybe through, and that is actually not that difficult if you start looking at what they used to do not that long ago. And it's about which is one of the main objectives of MOVIDA anyways, is to strengthen once again the traditional knowledge that's essential for livelihoods. What did you used to do to build your house, to grow your food? And so it's putting a stress again on the importance of doing that. So local economic generating activities, and in the very, very long term, working again on that food security, and trying to develop, I know there's a lot of initiatives like this that are growing around the world and in TULUM, but local community gardens, vegetable gardens. The Yucatan Mayan people traditionally grow in canches, in high raised beds. So it's about collaborating as well with people who work in permaculture, who work on, who traditionally Mayan people have been working with. They know their earth really well. So how can we collaborate and create something that's sustainable for their community?
Amazing, amazing. Well, it's super, super, super interesting, and I think that one of the big opportunities in general with COVID all around the world, it's giving us the opportunity to think about sustainability, to self-sustainability. So like you said, just growing your own food is just taking a step forward towards food sustainability. And it's happening already in Tulum. People are growing their own food. There's urban gardens, community urban gardens downtown, just growing. Literally. And just naturally, And so it's going to be amazing that we can implement food sustainability as well in Mayan communities, because it's something that they've done, you know, for a long time. So
yeah. And a lot of the kind of side work that's being done as well is a lot of like community empowerment, which is why we focus on young people as a because young people, because often they well, especially the age range that we focused on, which is basically 12 to young adults, you know, like 18, 20, they're often the most vulnerable to the kind of identity shift that's happening in these communities. You know, they're kind of torn between two worlds, with wanting to you know, work in tourism like a lot of people, but don't necessarily have the knowledge or skills to get higher paid jobs, you know, and end up finding whatever there is, with no social protection like we're seeing at the moment. And at the same time, that they forgot the importance about learning from the grandfathers, from the, you know, about livelihoods. You know, how do you answer your basic needs with what you have around you? So a lot of the workshops that we do are also based on connecting again to your environment, right? And environmental education. You know, we're talking a lot about the social implications of what's going on at the moment. There's also environmental implications. Let's hope for the better, but obviously in Tulum there's been a bit of both. So it's also important for these communities to take pride in what they have around them in order to protect it and in order to use what they can for their own life. And yet, placing communities at the heart of any form of action means that we need to grow a lot on their capacity to become leaders of their own village. You know, leadership skills, emotional intelligence, team building, decision making. I mean, are all things that we are trying to motivate the young people to become agents of change, if you want. So that's why hopefully we can continue using the same model as a youth-based approach, with the help of the donations that might come out of these and the amazing collaborations that have sparked from what's happening at the moment.
Yes. Thank you so much for the people that are already supporting us. Just by being here, listening to this interview, you help us, because our main objective is to raise awareness about what's going on in Tulum. And so if you want to know more about our about Papaya Playa's support program, we have the link in our Instagram account, in our bio, or you can just access directly through Papaya Playa's web page, and it has a link to this other digital platform where we're giving out all the information needed, so that you know what kind of actions are the initiatives that we're supporting taking. Okay, so please also feel free to visit Movida Maya's webpage. It's very complete. You're gonna find a lot of information there. If you want to know more about their project, so it's movidamaya.org. In the screen, you're looking at how you write Movida Maya, and just feel free to also follow them in their Instagram accounts and their social media in general. We thank your support in every way. We also thank we're grateful if you can also help us promote our program. If you help us share this program with your friends, with your connections, if you know of somebody that can also help out. If you're a Tulum lover,
Like all of us.
Yeah, like all of us, that we also live here. We welcome you to help us. It's whatever is in your heart, whatever is in your possibility to give.
Or just spreading the word as well.
Yeah,
it's a great help, being able to raise awareness. It's what this has enabled to do as well. So
exactly. Muchísimas gracias.
De nada. Gracias a ti.
Thank you so much, Julie.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias a todos por vernos hoy. Nos vemos la próxima mañana. Voy a decir una cosa más. Tomorrow we're going to have another neighborhood hero interview. This is all, we're all weekend, we're going to have different events happening online because of our full moon event. And tomorrow I will be interviewing another neighborhood hero that is distributing free water in the town. So see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. and send all your questions and anything that you need to be cleared out. Any doubts, we're here. Okay. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego. Nos vemos la próxima.